Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where last episode we struggled to get our prosperity up and ended up getting our prosperity down. So, that is amazing. This modest estate out over here, this is definitely pulling us down, and we need that to upgrade a little bit. So for now, that seems fine, but we also put in this housing out over here, and this is absolutely tanking our score somewhat. We need access to more education, and I believe the plan was to build some down here, or perhaps up over here, or maybe even here. What's the sizing of that looking like? I think we can put it in the center here. Yeah, that seems good. So we'll get that in there, we'll get some education going, and that seems great. Okay, we should definitely have some road going like this. That would make sense. I thought something seemed off over there, so we'll get that in there. That seems great for now. So next up, of course, we need to get these homes upgraded over here. They've got good quality of water, and we're working on upgrading this, or rather building this sweeper, as well as the education institution over here. So this all seems relatively fine for the moment. There we go. How are we doing on our job count? Well, we actually still need more commoners. Now, these homes will eventually be upgraded, but for right now, I'm going to put in 3 additional homes right here. And we'll just go ahead and do that. And while we're at it, we might as well bring these roads in here because we know where these roads are going to end up going, right? And we can just bring that down here like that. And then this is kind of awkwardly located. I'm going to move this Sawyer to be up over here like that. And then, of course, this road wants to come in right here, but can't because of this granary. So instead, it's going to go in there, which is certainly a little bit awkward. And then this can go in kind of like that. Okay, so that's fine for now. We've got these additional homes here. We've got people immediately in them. And now we have more commoners than we have jobs available, slightly. We want to have the same number, of course, but that's fine for now. This road out over here does eventually need to go in, and we can just do something like that. This can cross over here, this can cross over here, and this can cross over right here. Okay, so that seems fine for now. We're getting this new district online, but you can see our prosperity is dropping. And the reason for this is because these homes are needing to be upgraded. They're not at all upgraded at this moment. Now, I am noticing that out over this direction, we do have a bit of a lack of maintenance. So I'm thinking that we should probably consider a mason yard, and I want to put it here, but we don't have the space to do that because of chinampas. We'll need to chinampa this area. We do have clay pits over here, so I don't want to chinampa too much, but we'll get a little bit over here, and we'll get a mason yard slapped in right up over this way. So that'll be fine for now. And we can see our prosperity is starting to rise as these homes start to upgrade. So that's looking much better. They want a sauna, herbalist, or dentist nearby. I mean, we can definitely put in a dentist over here. I don't know that that's going to have access to any gardens yet, but it can at least provide a base level of healthcare. I'm also interested in putting in a sauna about here. And do we want an herbalist? Well, we could actually put in an herbalist up over here, and that would reach all of those homes. And potentially a gardener up over here if there is one. Where's the gardener that is responsible for this? That's the dentist there. There's got to be a gardener up here somewhere, right? Is it this one? No, that's a sweeper. What gardener is responsible for this? Tended by gardener. Oh. What? The camera panned to here. I see a sentry post. I see a sweeper. Is it panning to a person? No, the gardener's right here. I'm just blind. Okay, perfect. So this gardener is not able to reach this herbalist. That's good to know. So in that case, I'm going to put in another gardener out over this direction. I'm hoping that a gardener here will be able to reach the dentist. They will. So then we can put some small gardens here, like this. There might be some additional space, yeah, over here that we could fill in, and perhaps here we can reach some of that, but not a huge amount. We do want to have that mason yard that's going to go in right there. So this gardener definitely could use additional gardens to supply for all of that. But we do have space concerns. That said, we can put in a couple of gardens there, and maybe we can squeeze in some gardens up over this way. That's a pretty hard maybe. That's 18 out of 30, 19 out of 30, 20 out of 30. Anything else up over here? That terrain is blocked. We could fill in some of this up here that's not swamp. So that would bring us up to 24 out of 30, 25, 26. What else do we have out here? Well, this would be 27 out of 30. Most of this is swampland, and that's absolutely understood. So for now, that's fine. I wish we could reach down here, but we just can't. So I think that's largely all we can reach for the time being, unless we can get up here. We can. Like that. So that's 30 out of 30, but it's a little awkward. So I want to take a look over here. Yeah, they want to be closer to their place of work. Understood. But they also want some civil service. So for now, I want to get in a road about here-ish. I mean, I don't love that road positioning. And then we can do something kind of like that to finish off the road in this area. And then we can put in some civil service over here, which I'm planning on putting the civil service off over on this side, like that. Okay, so that'll be fine for now. We can see that we do still have more commoners than we have jobs, and that's absolutely okay for the moment. Our prosperity is up to 54. I want to check in on this guy. More diversion. Plaza, House of Song, or Ball Court. We might be able to put in a plaza out here, actually. So that would be, like, down over here. This would be weak symmetry, awful symmetry. Is there anything up over here that would be at all decent on the symmetry? No. This would be good symmetry. This would be strong symmetry. I'm going to do that, and that reaches this large estate. So that looks good. Now, of course, that plaza is going to want a House of Song. So we're going to put that perhaps right up over here. Excellent. So that looks good for now. We're up to 53 prosperity at this time. And what's dragging us down at this moment? Well, profit and loss is a big part of it. That's for sure. And I'd like to get the elite housing upgraded a little bit more. They want so much ambience, and I don't have any real way to add additional ambience to that, so there's not really much we can do. They're already just swarmed by gardens and stone roads, so it is what it is in that regard. Out over this direction, we've got these small houses out over here. They want cloth. We should be delivering cloth, shouldn't we? This is at 6 of 6. We don't have a source of cloth over here. So we can put a porter stop in somewhere around here or so, and this will end up being getting cloth, like that. So that'll get us cloth in this area. And I'm also thinking we should probably move this Sawyer overall, and I'm thinking about putting it up over this direction. Just because this area is getting cleaned out, we don't have a lot of trees for these Sawyers to work on over here. So that looks good for now. And we'll get that moved eventually, but that will take some time. But yeah, cloth is definitely a thing that we do need out over here, so that will happen. There we go. We're now getting cloth. That'll supply to this small market. So that seems a-okay. So we might require some additional jobs out over here, potentially. I'm thinking about maybe putting some additional cotton down over this direction. I'm just wondering about how we're doing on our cotton exports. And the answer is we're pretty full here, but I don't think our traders are actually doing too much, to be honest. I don't feel like they're actually exporting. So there's that. Some of our buildings need amate and herbs to provide service. Okay, what are we lacking amate on? We have this guy here. There's this modest palace over here, but can we see in any of these that we have, like, something that we're lacking? I mean, there's crowding. That's definitely a thing. There's service use, but that's not really what I'm looking for. Goods used? Maybe. Okay. So this is kind of telling me what I want to see, I think. I don't see a lack of amate anywhere, or at least not anything that's like colored red, right? That's what I'm looking for right now, is red colored things. So that's definitely something to think about. Now, we've got our amenities here, and our amenities are pretty okay. We could use some additional religion up over here, though. So that's definitely something to note. We could consider removing the canal that's here, but actually, before we do that, I want to Chinampa this area first, because this will be a good thing to do. Let's get that completed, Chinamping everything in here that we can, because we're not going to be able to Chinampa all of this if we get rid of these canals first. So let's get that started, and we'll start having some additional space out over here. That'll be fine for now. I'm seeing some of our workshops lacking clay, stone, and timber. I don't think that's actually that big of a problem at this moment, but what I really want to see is more trading posts exporting. So I think we need to come up over, this is importing Megui, that's understood. I think we need to come up over here and put in some more trading posts up this direction. So I'm going to do stone roads like this, and I'm going to connect like that. This doesn't have supervision by a fortress up over here. So can we fit one here? Yes, we can. Let's put a fortress there. And then I'm also going to put a barracks up over here for additional supervision purposes. Then we're going to have some trading posts out up over here. I'm going to do 1, 2, that's blocked, and this is blocked. Okay. For now, that's fine. And I want these to go basically anywhere we can export cotton to. We're already over-exporting cotton. I'm aware of that. But I want to over-export cotton. This is an import. I don't want to import cotton. No. Can we change that over? There we go. So those are going to different places, and that seems relatively fine for now. Let's have a road connection out over here, and this can be a road connection as well. Seems fine. We've got a bit of a garden spot here that should be removed, and then that garden should be placed here instead, so we can bring this road in like that. Okay. So we'll get all of that going. That should get our aqueducts rolling again as soon as we get this aqueduct bridge constructed anyway, which shouldn't take very long. There we go. So our aqueducts are now working again. Perfect. And we're up to 55 out of 70, so we've made some gains there. What's with this house? It has everything it needs, but it's a common home. Huh. I wonder why it downgraded. That's definitely causing us some issues right now. It should upgrade at some point. So down over here, they want to place closer to their place of employment. Sure. That's not terribly shocking. There's not a lot we can do about that particular issue, to be clear. So we can try to build jobs in places where we know that they want closer employment, like these over here. We can try to build some jobs up this way. That's definitely a thing that we can do. But for now, there's only so much that can happen. So we do have need for more commoners. Let's get some additional homes going in. I'm going to put these in right down here next to the collector. So that'll be fine. We've definitely got services right down over here. We'll get those put in, and that will help some of our crowding, but that'll drop our prosperity, at least in the short term, because we're going to need to get them upgraded. So yeah, these immediately, or pretty close to immediately, max out. There we go. Yeah, and they need access to all of their services, but they'll get that soon enough. We have all of that good to go right there. So I'm thinking there might be need for an alcove out over here quite soon. So I'm going to preempt that, and we're just going to put in an alcove right over here, just to help provide additional diversion services out over this way. So these homes will upgrade, and this one did, but then this one downgraded, claiming that it needs access to more diversion. That's not necessarily shocking out over here. It wants an alcove, plaza, ball court, or sauna. Okay, I'm just thinking about how we want to handle this right now. I'm going to put an alcove here, and then we'll take some stone road around like that. We could even put in a sauna right up over this way as well. That is definitely a possibility. So we could put a sauna there, and that seems okay. So that should solve that particular issue and get these homes back to being upgraded, in theory. At least up to small houses, even if they're not going to go up to large houses, which we would definitely prefer. But this is more jobs over this way, so hopefully that will cause them to reshuffle who lives there. That would be the dream. Do we have a trip time overlay here? Yes, we do. Okay, so we can see where our trip times are problems. And there's a lot of trip time problems. No doubt about that. I'm not necessarily concerned about most of the industrial trip times at this moment. What I am concerned about is housing trip times. Places like this, right? This means that we need more jobs out in this area that is close to these regions. So that's definitely noted. We'll need to think about how we want to proceed on that, because there's a lot of places, like basically every place where we have houses, they're traveling a long way, which makes me wonder, are the people living here working here instead of living here, and vice versa? I don't know. I'm not sure entirely how that's calculated, like where each resident lives. That'd be an interesting thing to know, for sure. I do want to connect up this road off over here. And we're going to be moving this road eventually out this way, but for the moment, this will do just fine. We're working on this Chinampa out over here. That all seems fine. I want to have more Chinampa being worked on over this way, and we'll just get that underway for now. So our prosperity is up to 54 at this time. We're at 919 out of 919. Now we're at 921 out of 919. So we don't require additional housing at this time. How are we doing with our maize? We are slightly positive on that. Okay, so that's absolutely noted. Why are these kilns not firing? Workers are resting. They've got plenty of resources. Okay, so we're at 54 out of 70. And we are seeing these trading posts fill up over here. Okay, this person was going to rest at a cottage. So someone way down here was working up here. That's interesting. That is, in fact, very interesting. So I'm assuming that just means that we don't have enough housing up in this area, because we don't have a lot of peasant housing up here, right? So if we were to put a singular house, like right here, that is blocked right now. This outcrop would have to be removed. But if we were to put a singular house right there, that would maybe receive services. I don't know. It would definitely get this basin. And it would definitely get this education. But I don't think it would get a sweeper and a sentry post. We could put those here, though. That wouldn't be a problem. So we can put in a sentry post here and a sweeper here. There we go. And it needs access to a market, which we don't really have a market around here. So that's definitely a concern. Can we fit one here? I don't think we can. Maybe we can, actually. We can. Okay, so let's definitely do that. That should be fed from this porter yard. It'll have access to cloth. It'll have access to timber, clay, stone. Where's the nearest granary? We should have a granary up over here anyway. So let's put a granary up over this direction. That'll go about here. And that'll cut off this road. I'm thinking right now that we could move this guy up over here, maybe. Or maybe even further up this way to be like here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get this granary in here. That'll be, of course, maize, fruit, and chili. And we'll have that be at 200 of each. Perfect. And then this road will connect here. It won't be, you know, very symmetrical, but that's fine. We're trying to get prosperity, not symmetry. That's the goal here, anyway. So this is, of course, going to feed this market without any problem. This home needs maize to develop, but we'll get there. So that seems absolutely fine. The Sawyer should get built very, very soon. I'm assuming somebody's heading out here to get this. They're working very slowly on it. Okay. We're making progress, though. There we go. Now that's done. And now we can bring the stone road in over here. Okay, so that'll be absolutely fine for now. Some of our religious venues are overcrowded. Yes, this isn't shocking. And this home out over here has everything it needs for the moment and should upgrade. This is a large estate. It wants access to a barracks out over here. Okay. We've got this barracks that we just put in up over here, and we don't have weapons and armor going in up here. We're going to need a porter stop probably up over this way somewhere. We could put it in here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's going to be getting weapons and armor over here, and it will supply that to both this fortress and this barracks. Then we can come down over here and put a barracks in down this way, kind of like this. It's a little bit oversized for this spot, but I think that's fine. We can take this road over like this, and then we can just run it up this direction. Kind of awkwardly like this. That's very awkward. This border stop is getting furniture, but it doesn't have enough space to get weapons and armor. And this border yard doesn't either. So I think we'll have to build a bespoke one down over here. That's okay. So we can just squeeze that in right over this way, I think, and that's going to be weapons and armor, and we'll be getting both of those. Okay, so let's get those going. Of course, out over here, we've got this large estate actually has everything it needs. That's interesting. It didn't used to. This one wants more education. Specifically, it wants a library nearby. If we built a library down here, would that reach? I doubt it, but we can check. No. So we're going to need to find a place somewhere up here to build the library. I wonder if we put it here? Oh, that's so close. That almost reaches. We could put it here. Take out some of these gardens, like this, and put in a library there and find another spot for these gardens. This would definitely reach. Yeah. It's not quite going to reach down here, but we could put an additional library down here, which seems good. Now, these need to have soil collected. They don't actually need amate. Interesting. Well, that's fine. So at this point, the ambience is a problem out over here, right? And that's understood. I wouldn't mind getting more gardens in for this gardener, and we could actually put these up over here like that. That's 29 out of 30, and then that can be 30 out of 30. Okay. So there we go. It does need amate. I thought it would. So I want this guy out over here, or we're going to need to bring some in for sure. So it's going to need to be supplied here and here. And how do we want to do that? Well, we've got this porter stop here, but we also had a porter stop that was only getting furniture. Where was that? This one. This one can get amate, and that will supply this library. And then we'll need to supply this one. And how do we want to go about doing that? Well, we could put a porter stop right down over here, or just use this porter yard. Yeah, we could do this. So that can get amate. That will supply to this library. So that looks absolutely fine there. Okay. So we are going to need more commoners, but this home just upgraded, and we'll definitely get more commoners there. Out over this direction, how are things looking? Okay, place of work, place of work, place of work. Yeah. Okay, so that's absolutely understood for right now. They want homes closer to their places of work. We could definitely think about doing some housing down over this way, and I think that's not a bad idea. If we did common homes 1, 2, 3, and 4, like this, we would take a stone road out here and bring that in kind of like that. We would have services down in this area because we don't have any of these right now. So we do something like that. And then I'd bring this stone road out and around like, not like that, like this. And then we would need a cistern somewhere up over here. And I would put that in right there, taking out that section of aqueduct like this. Now, this is not connected up over here yet, and it doesn't even have the chinampa to be brought in yet. So that's understood. And of course, there's this small problem. That mason yard is going to need to be moved, for sure. I'm going to move this cistern as well. I don't actually want this here. I'm going to put the cistern instead up here. And then the aqueduct will go in like this. But then we're going to want to have this stone road becoming like this, right? So the stone road will be something kind of like that. And then we can move the mason yard to be here. And then the stone road will go in right there. Once the mason yard gets moved. This will need to be chinampa'd right here. We'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So any moment now, we will have this mason yard get moved. I hope. Because we do definitely need to get those aqueducts built. Now, checking in down over here, the aqueducts are all in good shape. So that's excellent. So this is going to get us some new housing down over here. Market. Yes, we did not build a market. That is absolutely a thing that we should do. So the nearest granary is up over here, and that's a bit of an issue for us, for sure. I think we are going to need to have a granary over here, and that would end up going here, theoretically. So this road would come out like this, it would go like that, and then would come down like this, and then this is... yeah, exactly, like this. We'd need some chinampas out over here to have this fully squared off, but that's understood. So something like that. This granary is going to be getting all of these. We're not going to be accepting them at this time anyway. That might become an accepting granary later if we need to expand our farms all the way down here, but I don't think we'll need to. So that seems absolutely fine for now. So we'll continue to work on getting this all done, and eventually we'll see these changes get made, specifically to this mason yard. That's what we need more than anything. We do have a stone road that we can put in here, here, and here at this time, which we're going to do. Okay, so that seems fine for the moment. This mason yard still waiting to be removed, but we'll get there. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to work on this housing development out over here. This is to provide closer homes to these jobs that are out over here. That's the idea behind this. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.